Well folks, we are already here, the final of the 10 builds in Special Projects Pack number 4. There have been, I believe, more rally cars that I've done in this one than the previous packs, and we are ending off with another classic rally car, the Citroen DS21. This time it's a bit of a mishmash, a very popular livery. I'll flash up the name of the creator, and of course you can add it to your library via the link below in the description. But as far as the tune, as far as the specs in particular, I've opted to essentially go for what some online specs for a Group 2 machine were. It doesn't match up with the livery, but both of them are kind of realistic in their own way, and then we've just combined them both. Now, as far as the parts, it's a pretty simple tune to do if we jump into the tuning shop. So first of all, in the sports section we have stage 1 weight. Of course it has comfort mediums anyway, so that isn't something that I've fitted. As far as the club sports section, we've got the power restrictor, of course dirt tyres and ballast. For the semi-racing stuff, the fully customised diff. Under the racing section, the filter, the silencer, pads and discs. Like I've said before, it doesn't matter, what discs you go for. Drilled, slotted, carbon, ceramic, whichever you prefer. We've got racing clutch and flywheel fitted, the fully customised suspension and transmission, and then for the extreme stuff, like I often do with a rally car, we've gone for the steering angle adapter and hydraulic handbrake that you would typically use more on a drift car, because again it helps with manoeuvrability. Of course, being a front-engine, front-wheel drive build for a rally car, it does present some different challenges. But in the case of this one, I will definitely say that this build was, at the very least, inspired by the Citroen DS in Dirt. It's a very fun little classic rally car in that game. It doesn't have a huge amount of power, but what it can do with it is pretty impressive. And like I said, I'm using some online numbers, which I could find for a Group 2 machine, which was 115 horsepower and 1250 kilos. So that's exactly what we're going for. As far as I could find from those same specs, we are running, I believe, if I recall correctly, the same weight split that one had, a 58-42. So we've got the dirt tyres fitted. For the suspension, 135mm on the front, 185 on the back. Sounds like a massive difference, but it really doesn't look it in practice. I've opted to make it a bit more of a kind of bouncy, fun rally build rather than a harder one as a couple of the other ones were. So I've got the anti-roll actually reduced down to 1. For the compression on the dampers, we've got 30, and then 30 for the expansion as well. 1.35 for frequency, so pretty low. 2 degrees of camber on the front, 1 on the rear. A little bit of toe. We've gone toe out, 0.5 on the front, toe in, 0.5 on the rear. I've gone for 10, 10 and 10 for the diff. For the gearbox, 220 kilometers an hour. You could probably get away with having it even closer than that, to be honest, because it's not like you're going to be doing those speeds that often in this car. For the ballast, you want to add 80 kilos. I've put that all the way to the front to get us closer to that real-world split. If I recall correctly, I think that might not even match up with how front-heavy the real car was. I think it may have even been a 60-40 or something like that, but I don't recall. The downforce, of course, doesn't apply. And then as far as the rest, you can see what I fitted, in particular the racing filter, the silencer, the discs, etc. And of course the stage 1 weight down here. So like I said, it's a very simple build. It's barely over 400 points. So it is one of the very, very low-end rally builds that I've done. But with that in mind, of course we will jump out to a dirt track, because this thing, both in real life and certainly here in the game, is one of those cars which really does go beyond its raw numbers. The DS21 is such a good car. Not only because of its design, because of its tech, but it was really good in motorsport as well, and it is really good here. For a car that only has 115 horsepower, and let's be honest, at 1250 kilos, it's not that light. That's not particularly lightweight for a classic car. So the fact that it's front-wheel drive, I would actually say helps. When you don't have a huge amount of power to deal with, it's not like it really matters whether it's front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. So it's super fun to use. The slightly softer setup on the springs, like I said, are mostly for fun, but at the same time it is a pretty quick little car. It's not the quickest thing around, of course. I have done plenty of quicker builds than this, but it is a lot of fun. If maybe you've got one of these Citroens and you're not quite sure what to do with it, you could at the very least have this as one of your setting sheets instead of like the sole purpose for the vehicle. But if you do decide to use it, of course I hope you have a ton of fun with it. and it's just unfortunate that there aren't more rally events to use cars like this in, at least for the moment. So for those of you who have joined me on this journey in Special Projects Pack number 4, I hope you've enjoyed at least some, if not all of the builds, especially for those of you who have been around since Pack number 1 in December, and of course stick around for Pack number 5 in future, most likely next month. And we will also have to wait and see what arrives officially from Polyphony in conjunction with these builds that I do at the start of the month, see what they give us at the end of the month in a more realistic, actual new car kind of way. So stick around for that coverage, of course, and for the next pack, most likely even next month. And for now, as always, thanks for watching.